All right, thank you very much for joining us. This is Serious Matters on TV. My name is Olukunle Abraham. All right, well, it's Serious Matters again, and then of course, whenever we come on here like this, it has to be that there is something to discuss. And when it is coming from the mouth of, somebody like Fani-Kayode, then of course it must be serious matters. All right, Fani-Kayode has come up with this one. He says, who are these obedients? They are everywhere. Several news. There is no day without the obedience. There is no day going by without talking about the obedience. So let's look at this, what he had to say. And it's very, very catchy and very, very interesting. He said that, let me make this clear from the onset. I am a member of the APC and a supporter of Asiwaju Tinubu. So this contribution does not in any way derogate from that. And my analysis is more of an academic and intellectual exercise than anything else. I think the 2023 election, it's more than just choosing a leader. It is a change of gear for the nation, for the pace at which the nation is moving. There is going to be a change, in gear for higher speed. Okay, let's go straight to business. Let's look at what he had to say. He said, I'm not a supporter of Peter Obi and I have no intentions of becoming one. Now, this is somebody who has jumped from one party to the other. He is somebody who was a strong critic, a strong critic of the APC, of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration, but eventually, got into the party and apparently he is in the APC. Okay, he said, I am, however, interested on what his supporters represent and stand for, and that is the subject of this particular editorial. He said they are worthy of my attention only because their rise and relevance in the political configuration of our nation, just in a matter of weeks, is meteoric and phenomenal. It's obedient everywhere. I saw in the news earlier on today, a young man somewhere in Bauchi State opened a car wash and is offering free car wash for both, I think both Fridays and Sunday, Wednesdays and Friday, in support, in love for Peter Obi. So we are getting, the obedience is getting the attention of practically the majority. Let me not say everybody, but then they are getting the attention of so many. And if the attention of somebody like Fani-Kayode could be caught, then of course we are getting the attention of so many. Look at the other candidates, how they are trying to have meetings upon meetings, and I mean, let's look at it from different perspectives and see what do you feel about this. Now, Fani-Kayode said, in order to counter and defeat them or to keep them in their place, we must at least attempt to understand them and figure out how their minds work. Figure out how their minds work. Now, he said, these followings are my findings. These are my findings. That those that are the supporters of Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate, are known as obedient, and they are everywhere. They are everywhere. Whether you talk about the south, southeast, southwest, northeast, northwest, north central, west, east, they are everywhere, practically everywhere. And I believe that that's what you need to be known everywhere. You must have a presence everywhere. Now, he said those of us in the larger political parties like the ruling APC and the opposition PDP treat them with contempt and ignore them at our own peril. They are treating the obedience with kid gloves. They keep saying they are just on the social media. It doesn't matter. And from my own experience, I have discovered that people who get martyred are people who say it doesn't matter. And so what they say doesn't matter eventually matter them. And then they begin to look back and say, oh, I wish I handled these things without kid gloves. Now, the truth, according to Fani-Kayode, is that they are far more dangerous to our collective cause as a ruling class than many of us can possibly conceive or appreciate. And the truth, that is the truth of the matter. That is the truth of the matter. If we all continue to say, oh, they are just social media votes, they are just, like when the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party came on here in channels, said they just have this presence on here on social media. What happened in Oshun, and then where is the labor, in that and all of that. From the way he was talking, you discover that he wasn't as if he wasn't bothered about Peter Obi was not a threat. That's the way he sounded. But look at somebody, an intellectual person. I'm not saying that every other person is not intelligent, but this person is looking at it from a more, reasonable perspective. He said only the discerning can appreciate this and know precisely where this whole thing may be heading to. It's interesting. Now, he came up to say that they may not have structures or elected representatives in the legislative and executive arms of government, but they have ideas and vision coupled with a clear ideological and philosophical bench which can and will endure for far longer than mere political platforms and structures. And that's very, very interesting. You remember Peter Obi said, look, they said I don't have structure, but the people are my structure. Don't he? And I saw one of those videos where somebody said, look, let's waste our vote on the one who does not have structures. I think we have voted for the one who has structures and we didn't get results. So it's time for us to vote for one who does not have structures, and let's see the difference. People's minds are made. And I think the prayer of so many is that they should continue to handle the issue of obedience with kid gloves and just keep saying it doesn't matter, nothing will happen, they cannot do anything, that kind of thing. Then they will eventually see that, oh, really? You mean these guys really did exist? And you know what I'm talking about. So, but then, what did he say? He said, unknown to them as well as virtually everyone else, therein lies their power. That's in the power of the ideas and visions. As they say, an idea whose time has come cannot be stopped. This man seemed to be speaking in parables, so seriously. Long after we are all gone, they will still be here because very interesting. Of a pastor or is using the eyes of the spirit to see the things that are happening on this or in the other part of the world and now bringing them into this world. He wants to enlighten the people in his party, but I don't know if they are listening. I don't know if they are seeing these things that he is saying. He is saying that obedience is not a political party. It's stronger than a political party. It's a movement. A movement will always outlive and outshine political parties. They might not have structures. Like somebody said, he said even if he becomes president, somebody said even if Obi becomes president, they will impeach him because he doesn't have, Labour Party does not have representatives. And Peter Obi has come out to say, don't worry, let me become president first and you will see if I will govern this country without having, a single candidate in the Labour Party, from the Labour Party in the House of Representatives or in the Senate. He said they also represent a generational and paradigm shift.